I've been in the jiu-jitsu game a long time, and up until this point, you can't really make what you would call a living.
The Professional Grappling Federation, we are changing that narrative for the entire sport.
Everybody's fucked.
Hey, Coach. I'd like to talk to you about trade, potentially.
I've subbed like half the people that are actually in the PGF.
1900!
Say it first.
Yeah, I'm just day one. It's not gonna be easy, man.
Stop. Dude. Oh my gosh, and Davis is in big trouble. That was a disgusting crack. The submission is on. Andre could be in trouble. In under a minute.
Polish power indeed.
You know, anything you think you're going through, you gotta think they're going through also. You know, so it doesn't matter. You know, suck it up and let's go.
Telling these guys, man, like they risking it too much in day one. It's just day one, bro.
Alex, take it away.
Yeah, I'm not sure how fun this report is going to be, TJ, because we're talking about injuries. There has been a lot that transpired behind the scenes in that first matchup.
Oh, this could be it. He's got it. Travis Thomas puts 6 on the board.
Big kill and now
Big
in
win.
second.
I couldn't do that.
Come on, man.
I wasn't able to do that shit, man. Travis, he's an OG, bro.
The officials, they all got together after. Oh, watch out.
Ooh.
Oh,
my goodness.
I feel awesome just being here. I may sound like a broken record, but you'll remember me after this one. You may not notice me yet, but I'm fucking strong and I'm here to make a statement.
And hey, there won't be any stalling out of either one of these boys.
Whoa. There we go. Ooh. There it is. Wow. Martini business here. Pulled down
he
the
got
head,
it.
gets the kill. Nicely done. Time to see him go to work here in the second block.
Nice counter by Paul.
Go cry to somebody who cares, Brad.
I love PGF so much. I love what you guys are doing. The fact that everyone in the world is not watching this right now is a shame.
I got a bone to pick, okay? If you don't want to come to PGF and do 12 matches, don't come to PGF.
There is a different buzz in this building tonight, is there not, Egg?
Ton of time here for Ardilla to work.
Paul has a very good armbar. We've seen it a couple of times. He's stretching it out. He's got it.
I've never had so much fun competing, being sore, dreading coming to the next day, and this is the future. I gotta be honest with you.
All right, boys.
That was kind of cool.
That was kind of neat. That was like an actual thing.
Well, welcome to the Dream Show Live. After that riveting intro, it feels kind of weak to do one, but it's me and Isaac, who's in the new angle right here beside his compadre and our second fearless leader. Like, I don't know how that rank thing works with y'all, or if there is one or whatever, but Mr. Keelan Lawyer.
What's up, guys?
Hey, man.
Good to see y'all.
I mean, it's good to see you in a different context where we're not drowning underneath all that footage.
Yeah, we did it, right? Grapplers 3 came out and stuff. That was the trailer.
That's 3? Okay.
Yeah, that's the 3rd edition.
That's crazy too.
It's wild. The I've gotten asked this question a couple of times, Keelan. Changing the guard. Where did we come up with that name?
Man, I literally it'll come to me each one. Like, what does this season feel like? And I always wait till the season's over to answer that question. And, you know, in the first iteration where it wasn't a series, it was just like the film. It was no gi, no money. And if you remember, like at that time, there was like this conversation going on in the community of like money, and like there wasn't a CJI, and ADCC was still the thing, and Craig Jones hadn't even really started his true complaining.
Yeah, there wasn't even that conversation on the table yet. Like Craig wasn't even at the table when this started.
Yeah. So then in the first one, no gi, no money felt like the way to go. But in the second one, obviously it felt way different. And so Legends and Legacy came to mind. And it felt like, you know, there was legends in the building, and this one is important for legacy and, you know, history and stuff. And then in this one, changing of the guard felt right because Elijah had been the face of the PGF for so many years, in the same way where like you know, Hoist Gracie was like the face of the PGF or the UFC for the first couple years, you know, and it just felt like a changing of the guard. And it was within his same gym of like 10th Planet Atlanta, where like his compadre was like, he was like passing the baton, you know?
Yeah.
And so changing of the guard felt like the way to go.
That's really interesting. I had not even thought about that, because in my mind, when you were saying that it came to you after the season, I'm like, how is Ryan Aiken winning like a changing of the guard, other than he's not won one yet or something like that, but just like in general with him being, you know, pretty dominant here lately in a lot of different ways and formats. But the parallel with he and Elijah, you know, and the teammates thing or whatever makes a lot more sense now in that way.
Yeah. But also, if you look at like some of the things that Pedro Sauer and Carlos Machado and some of these legends themselves, some of the things that they were saying throughout the season, you know, that they were blown away at times. You know, I remember Pedro Sauer saying, you know, this guy's a monster, you know, it's crazy, savage.
You can see them like thinking about like, if I was his age, I would, oh my gosh.
So yeah, I actually had that down as one of the things I wanted to ask you about a little bit too, Keelan, is what are some things that you have noticed with having these legends come in and coaching, we'll say, these kids, or versus the modern mindset of what competition is and stuff like that? What's been some of your observations on that?
Man, I guess one of the things I guess that comes to mind is like the game has gotten so deep. It seems like they're so intricate, so technical. Like there's so much to jiu-jitsu now, right? Like I guess back in the day it was more basic, and if you just dominate these basics, like that's enough to do the thing. And sport jiu-jitsu has gotten like just so technical. And so I think partially that's great, obviously, right? But then partially it's like some of these younger guys are forgetting the basics, you know? And so watching these legends and OGs come with these new age modern jiu-jitsu guys, and like how it meshes is like, I noticed that, like, you know, the legends are impressed by the technique of these guys, but they're lacking some of the fundamentals and basics, which are easy to impart within the week. So it's like in that season format where it's just done in a week, it's hard to like learn a bunch of intricate techniques and stuff for jiu-jitsu. But if you're a high level grappler and my man Pedro Sauer drops a principle, a very basic fundamental idea that you just have skipped over because you were learning all the fun, flashy stuff of like modern jiu-jitsu, then like you can see these new athletes, or these modern athletes, these young athletes gaining a lot through the week. And yeah.
That's really interesting. And I think that goes in line with something just I've been thinking about a lot in regards to like coaching and jiu-jitsu as like a whole in some ways too. Like it's so hard in the room sometimes to get people to focus on some of that basic fundamental, like whatever stuff, because there is a lot more to do that is more movement based and involved and fun probably to do on a day-to-day basis with it. And then it's kind of hard to get that lesson, like I said, to come across. But in this way, one, you are in a very hostile, like intense environment for an extended period of time, and you don't, like you said, have much time to make adjustments. And then also, for most of these guys, most of us in general have not been coached by a person of this caliber or this pedigree of time, in the game and things like that too. So combining of those things, like the moment itself where you're at and everything going on, and then to get that one little, not so little, but vote of like confidence and just saying like literally just put your hand here versus here, and you'll see a huge difference because it's already made it like this is what cost you, and you can see right now, and you're like, holy crap, that was the one thing that I missed in the moment, and so that could literally change a person's like whole trajectory. Is that the right way to say that? Trajectory.
So. You can say it like that.
I just chewed on my tongue there for a second.
I think the Kyle Chambers Hodger Gracie moment stands out to me in that.
I actually used that this morning in class.
Yeah, like Hodger was just like, man, hands first. Don't let them touch your legs. You're engaging them over here. And just like a simple thing. And now Kyle's incredible. He's got some of the most technical, amazing, cool jiu-jitsu that there is. But something so simple like that, when it's like, hey, normally do it like this, but we're trying to get a submission in under 6 minutes. And these guys are really good. Like, hey, this is what Hodger Gracie is noticing. And
don't let them skip a step.
It's not right or wrong in that way either. It's not saying that what you do is not good or whatever either. It's just like in this moment, this is what I've recognized, and it's like, oh yeah, that does, it might help a lot if you would try that in this case for sure. Now in other instances, Kyle style is Kyle style, like you said, but it does allow for time to go on sometimes because he's comfortable just being in the match forever and eventually working his way to the victory somehow. But you can't do that in a 6 minute thing. So you have to, like you said, Isaac, not let them skip steps, not let them get like past a certain point, because then everybody's just battling for a reset essentially.
It feels like American Idol or The Voice, where you go perform and then the coach judges you, and like they're like high level in the industry and like you're like up and coming, and so their opinion matters, right? And so like through the week or through the season of the PGF, these athletes are like competing and their coach is watching, and then their coach gives them their thoughts, and it's a cool experience for the athlete, for the viewer. There's a lot.
See, I don't get to go to the back during the show, so I see how the coaches are on the couch and during matches or whatever and things like that. So we don't really know, or I never know until really the show comes out, some of the stuff that's being said or happened and things like that. So that's really interesting too, just to think like it's literally going on all the time. And we saw with the New Hope team again with Pedro Sauer and Ricky Lindell and those guys, they were really working some of that stuff, and even referenced a specific, saw that one clip where Professor Sauer was like, instead of clamping here, which is fine, you can just boom, put your hand here, and it was just like, oh my god, that is actually that makes a lot of sense.
So small techniques like that, but then just mindset too, like listening to Hodger Gracie say suck it up, like that shit's powerful.
What you gonna do? I'm about to suck it up. I feel like for sure in that moment, like but that's a big part of this thing too, as a coach, I guess, or when you're that person in there, is like you got to be able to try to drag that out of somebody when they don't think they have it, because man, it's hard, and these guys are depleted, they're struggling, some of them are taking losses that they don't think they were supposed to or should or whatever, and so it's hard to stay in the game. But a good coach will be able to make a guy go out there and give it, a real good effort and pull out more than he thought he was capable of. So yeah, I think that's one of the really cool parts, is having these guys invested that way, to where they are actually trying to do the thing for the guys, and if they're smart, they'll get that lesson. You know, even if they don't get to win this season, they should be able to win forever off of the lessons they learned during that like super condensed time with that person.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What was some of when you got into editing? Because by the time you got to the timeline, there was a lot of stuff already laying on the editing floor. So like, what was like your favorite moment that like squeaked its way in? Like that was like, it had to stay.
Good question.
I really like the moment that you forced me to keep, which ended up being a great moment, which was when Hajar was rolling with Natter.
Yeah.
During the open mat at one of the days, and he had like suffocated Natter with just like mount pressure, and Natter's like really good, really strong, and just couldn't do anything but tap. And it was like he waited as long as he could because Natter also doesn't like to tap. And yeah, he just got up from like he was a half an inch away from death, and Hajar's just laughing, and then he's like, no patience. You have no patience. And Natter's like, patience, like for what? So you could kill me faster? And Hajar's like, he's like, you need to chill. It's like
you need to relax.
You're drowning, and if you panic, what happens? You sink to the bottom. He said, relax. You might float. And
that was my favorite moment.
I was like, dang. And it's just like one of those like I don't know, those wushu moments of like, this shit should be in the Dao Te Ching.
Yeah.
But I probably, in terms of like keeping and killing and cutting things out of that timeline, I probably wouldn't even go through the open mat too much just because there's so much footage, and it's like I'd scrub through it. But that's definitely one of the, and the audio wasn't great on it. So it's like you got to get subtitles and a lot of audio processing. And so it's like a lot of those things I don't even mess with because of time invested into the project and like the ROI in any individual clip and the moving forward of a story and progressing of a storyline, and like, does it pertain to the story of these grapplers and athletes, and how much it affects things, and how much work's going to be involved, and like the length of the clip. Like all these things matter and go into my thought process when like editing.
Yeah, because it's not just the like topical things. We're like, yeah, of course the story, but I mean the lighting matters, the sound matters, the can I see their face and tell who it is? Like, does it matter?
You're a colorist also now, so that must matter to a degree.
Yeah. And so when Isaac gives me the timeline and I have like 2 or 3 days to do my part, that would have been in the kill bin. But he was like, you have to keep this one part, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay.
I've been up for 3 days trying to find this clip.
Yeah.
Please.
So that ended up being a great moment, great clip.
Speaking of timelines, Keelan, how much time did we have on this one to turn around a docu-series?
I don't know. We were doing like each episode week by week, though.
Yeah, it basically ended up being that way because I've talked Steven's ear off about this, but we ended up with like almost a 4 terabyte size project that we were having to move around and sift through.
Like, what does that mean though? Like, people, like, I hear that and it sounds like, okay, but what does that mean to move around that much information?
So each video, if you had to watch this video, whenever we download it, whenever we're done streaming, we're going to stream for like an hour, right? And when you watch through it and stuff, that's an hour long of your life. And that video would be like 1.8, maybe 2 gigs at most, to be honest. That's an hour. So imagine 100 gigs. Now imagine 200 500, even 1,000 gigs. That's a lot.
So how much is a terabyte?
1,000 gigabytes.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then you said that
4,000, like 4,500 gigabytes. So we're talking thousands and thousands of videos that are minutes, some 20 minutes, you know, however long.
The streams are 8 hours.
Yeah. And not all the cameras were time coded, so you have to physically match where they go.
Terrible.
Yeah. And the audio is on separate files. It's not always connected to a camera. Sometimes there's random microphones recording random people.
Mm.
And these aren't labeled. It just says CC1649. It doesn't say Keelan interview.
Some of them do.
When they get labeled. That's part of the process.
Right.
I guess that's taking the lumps, I guess, as a team, going through that process, figuring out how the best way to do this is you know, maybe not done these formats before.
It's taken like 3 seasons for us to get to a point where I feel like on this next one, it'll be fine.
It's like, yeah, every time's a little bit better. The process is a little bit more refined, cutting out a little bit more of the slack things that you didn't realize was going to be an issue. Now you can kind of just get ahead of it, different things like that. Yeah. It seems like a lot, definitely. And that's why I don't do much stuff on my social media like I should probably be doing, because I'll even find a good clip. But then after about an hour of trying to make a 10-second video, I'm done. I don't even care if people want to see it or not. I done saw it enough. I'm good, you know, and that's, you know, it's for me anyway. So I'm all right. And that's it.
I'm not even laughing anymore.
There's like a bajillion hours of videos somewhere edited of all kind of stuff. I'm sure that would maybe or may not be entertaining to other people, but
that's when you upload.
Yeah, I know. I just got to sit here and do it. Schedule out like 1,000 weeks of posts. Just nonsense.
It's funny. I literally did that last night. I have 94 reels that I made last night that are going to be posted one a day on the PGF each Monday through Thursday or Friday.
Don't compare yourself, Steven.
No, I don't get that. Like, I don't get that like buzz to do that though. Like, I don't know what, like, have you all like when you started doing this, you were just mostly like taking pictures and videos and things like that. But was editing and photos and different things like that maybe always like a special interest of yours in some way, or is it art more? Not
that I know of. Like, there was no pictures or videos or editing of any sorts until I started the YouTube channel, man. Like, watching people's YouTube content and me having kids is what really started it. I was like, damn, I don't have a photo album or anything for these children. I need to like take some pictures and videos. And yes, like I had a phone. And so I started taking pictures and videos and got a selfie stick and like, you know, just like started there doing. And
how long ago was that?
Man, probably like 9 years ago. I was watching vlogs, like the Paul brothers back in the day before they got big were just like YouTubers, and they were on Vine, and they just did like skits and shit on social medias. And when they started daily vlogging, it was like a TV show that came out, and every single day you could guarantee that they had a new video, and it's like they're having fun. It was just fun, like early days. And so Casey and Istat and all those guys, I just was watching a lot of vlogs. So that's all I really knew how to do or wanted or had any interest in. So I started like vlogging for me and my children, and that's really where it started.
That's cool. About 8 years ago. With no like stuff there now, but you just kind of fallen in love with it, I guess, to a degree. And
yeah, I've always been, I guess, like artistic. Like you mentioned art. Like I did take art, and I was in like theater. I was in like the school competition plays in middle school, and like I was
boy.
the lead role in the plays, and I enjoyed that kind of shit, like taking on a character and like telling stories and like pretending. And so it kind of, I
You're
guess.
Peter Pan.
No, I was never Peter
Oh,
Pan,
okay. You're
unfortunately.
like a good Peter Pan.
What was your best leading role
I don't know about best, but I guess
or favorite?
I did get voted best, but
Oh,
one of my favorites was
Hey,
I was Mozart. I don't even remember the play name, but
You were Mozart. Okay.
yeah, I had to get a
Little foreshadowing there.
little German accent going on. Learn to play the piano.
gotta think about Mozart there. I don't know much about him there, but that seems like a tough ask for how old were you?
That was 7th or 8th grade, probably 7th. 8th, no, it was like right before high school, so I guess 8th.
That's funny.
I'd like to see some
I'm sure Keelan's mom
footage
has
of
got
this
a
thing somehow
got
to
video of this.
I'm
figure out
sure
what
it
Mozart
exists.
was like to a 8th grade Mr. Keelan here.
Yeah.
What your interpretation of that is.
Yeah, we got to find that.
And is this why you probably like to be behind the camera more now? Often is you've already kind of done your time on the stage then, and you performed and to make yourself happy that way, I guess.
Man, I don't know. I guess growing up, I always felt like I was supposed to be the superstar, but with great power comes great responsibility.
Hey,
and I'd prefer just to be in the shadows these days.
but that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, but different.
Sometimes it's more. Sometimes it's more responsibility.
I don't know what kind of show this is, but in the shadows, you get to smoke weed.
Whoa.
Hey,
Yeah, I guess that's true. Do more things like that. Have a little bit more like walk around room, and you're not pinned down.
You know,
certain things too.
You know, I like that. It's there's a lot of pressure, right? Like in production, for example.
There's always something.
Versus like competing, like that for the athlete. It's like we're both under pressure, but it's like different kinds of pressure. And whenever I started early training, I guess in my jiu-jitsu journey, the goal wasn't jiu-jitsu. The goal was I'm bored, right? And then I realized that this is a whole thing, and then the goal immediately switched to UFC World Champion, right? As most guys do whenever they start. And it didn't take long, because I'm a pretty smart guy, for me to go, that path isn't quite as easy as I was expecting. That's going to involve a lot of sacrifice. And then I had a kid. And then immediately everything switched to, I don't care nothing about that. I'm not sacrificing all that kind of stuff. I've got other things to do. But I still love this thing. And it just kind of naturally developed into filming and producing content. Luckily, I was at 10th Planet Decatur with Brandon, and he was one of the first adopters in the niche of like content creation with jiu-jitsu, and it just kind of made sense to like start helping him out, because I was like getting more interested and he needed some help with it, and it just kind of naturally fit, you know?
Yeah, I remember. Not necessarily like when you were first maybe starting or whatever it was, but I definitely remember early, like Brandon being a content like making videos and
you remember when I interviewed you at like
Ultimate Mat Warriors?
Yeah.
Was that okay.
That was early.
I had been filming for like,
I gave you a good one.
Definitely not a year, like maybe a year at most.
How good was that cut I gave y'all?
Oh, it was good. I wish I knew how to expose and capture audio better at that time.
It's true. Hey, to me, I was like, man, this is amazing.
I know at the time.
Look how good I looked and sounded here on this thing.
No, I always do that. Like looking back, at footage and, you know, videos we made, it's like kind of embarrassing sometimes, but they felt
Yeah.
cool at the time.
No, and that was a moment though, right? That's what I'm saying. That's like a time capsule in a way for sure that we can go back and see that. And now like it reminds me of that, you know, I like it's just getting my black belt, you know, that like era of my time when, you know, competing still, but reffing and doing different things like that for Richie's show out there and thinking about the next stuff, whatever that is too, you know, because I'd been talking to Brandon about the content creation stuff as well. So I was trying to figure out that too, you know, because guys, since I think I was still a brown belt for sure. Yeah, I definitely was. And other guys like Kent Peters and you know, that early group, Drew, and, you know, people like that, had the groups and were really like trying to motivate me to jump in and really start trying to do stuff. But it was, you know, it was hard, I guess, at first to kind of feel comfortable trying to do that and act like somebody on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that like a thing maybe you've seen with lots of people over time or whatever, is that they
Oh yeah, almost
they just-
everybody
yeah.
has like this, like, you know, when the camera's on, it's different, right? You feel kind of weird about it at first, like talking to the camera and feeling like you're talking to the people behind the camera, like is a weird feeling at first for almost everybody. There's very few people that it doesn't affect at all.
It's almost like pointing a gun at people.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that's natural.
It's been a journey, you know, and it's fun. And that's kind of actually one of the things I had like written down too to ask about a little bit is what is your favorite maybe single interview that you've done or had on one of your shows or something like that you really can remember, like just one off from anybody or whatever it is. Is there anything you can think of?
Not too much of it made its way through, I guess, to the film, but I remember like interviewing Travis's family and in the No Gi No Money documentary was like impactful and like in the moment, you know, I could just like it made me love Travis more too. You know what I'm saying? Like talking to his family and stuff. It's like,
yeah,
like whenever he was talking about Travis's actions and the path that he's on, how it affects his younger siblings and shit. And like I was watching them like walk through the house and like while I was interviewing his dad, it's like off camera and like, you know, just like real human moments. I am here to tell stories. Like that's kind of the passion part for me. Like I don't enjoy staying up till 4 a.m. editing. That's stuff that I do so that the story can be told and like we committed to dates and shit. But like the story itself, telling that story is like what I enjoy. Like, you know, when Ryan is crying because he's thinking about what his dad was telling him and what his dad went through. And then at the end of the season, he wins the fucking the 100,000 with his team, the 20,000 as the champion. He's got more money than anybody that's walked out of the PGF before. And like, he looks at the camera and he tells his dad, like, you were wrong, you know? And then like, he's crying in Sean's arms. Like these are the human moments that keep me coming back, you know, that don't allow me to get bored, you know, that keep me feeling like the shit matters, right? And so any interviews and moments like that over the course of my time, they always kind of stick with me.
That's really cool. So you get to have that time while you're during the events and things like that. Obviously, you, like you say, you get to feel and see those things, like sometimes, you know, definitely a lot of times while you're there. And then also you get to go back and maybe like see some of it more or dig further into some of those moments that do seem and are really special and stuff like that. So that's cool. You get to kind of sustain that like I said, feeling or drive that you get, to see the story, other people's stories being told, and raising it up that way.
We
I
could
like
have
that.
we could have made any kind of show. You could make a the Bachelor or the American Idol, like all these kind of shows, like a singing show or a love show, or we made a jujitsu show, and this show is a generator. It's a machine. It generates emotional stories and character development in and of itself. If we run the show that we created, you put any 20 athletes in the world in there, this show will happen. Like the character development, the story arcs, the journey, the ups and downs, the thrills, the victory, the agony of defeat, it all happens. It's going to happen every season. Like,
Yeah, I thought season 2 y'all were trying to do some bullshit for sure. I was like, I didn't really know Lonnie yet or any of that stuff. I was skeptical. I was like, what are they talking about me out here on like on a rope swinging around or some shit?
I mean,
On
that's
a
the show.
pole?
That's the show
No.
that's the ultimate grappler. That's what the UFC is going to make in the next couple weeks or months, I'm sure.
That's cool if that's what they want to do.
Speaking of footage that never made it, I have
to do that the week of competing myself personally. I'll do that shit in the off season.
You'll go to the Ultimate Grappler.
I'll wrestle a bear.
Okay.
But I don't want to do that when I gotta like also wrestle like another bear, Jake Elkins, that night or something.
See, right after PGF season 2, that's when Who's Next stole the idea too.
Mm-hmm.
And then did their little thing.
Would you have wrestled a steer? Steve?
Personally?
Like on the Who's Number One?
I'm gonna from the outside look.
Or
Who's
who's next?
Keelan or
Yeah.
me? Who you
I was asking you. I know
Oh.
Keelan's answer.
So from here, it's easy to say like, man, no, that's crazy. But if I was there and we were all like, I'm gonna do it, then I would do it too. And I'd have to do it better than everybody else did.
Of course, because if you didn't, I'd make fun of you.
Right. I have to definitely do more than Keelan, better, more, and also just maybe another time.
That's ridiculous.
Just to show that I don't care about my own safety.
Shout out to Egghead.
I turned the comments off.
Yeah,
not live to everybody, but just I don't read stuff anymore because we got kind of popular enough to start getting some trolls. That's funny.
But yeah, Egghead's in here.
Young Eggward.
But the on the Grapplers, Steven, when you were watching it, as far as you went through the season and you were there, and like you said, you didn't see much of the back, and this season it was a big blend of it was kind of like rewatching the matches, but with the like side commentary of what everything was happening between the coaches and stuff like that. What was something that you kind of like picked up on that you hadn't while you were there, that was like when you were watching, you were like, oh, I didn't even know that happened?
Trying to think of a specific kind of thing like that, but there's just a lot of like, I guess it's more of what I really thought would be more of a thing, maybe wasn't necessarily like, because I'll say stuff to y'all about stuff sometimes, and you're like, yeah, I don't really care about that, and it's like, what? How do you not care about this? And you're like, yeah, that's not that important. I care about this other thing, and I'm like, what? That's stupid. But and it's not like, again, it's kind of like you said about the moment with Hodger training or whatever. It's just sometimes like what I see is what feels like it's an important detail, but I didn't see hours and hours of other things that happen around the stuff, and so for me, one of the things is to see again the back behind the curtain stuff after matches or pre-match, or I like a good post-fight interview, and so I get the ones that I get on the mat when everybody's like on stage still, but then that moment after you go back there and it starts being real and it's not a performance necessarily still, and guys are still trying to do that, but it hurts when it hurts back there, and that stuff's real back. Once you and because it's not live, people kind of put down a little bit more honest. I feel like response that way. So some of those kind of interviews and hearing and seeing some of the things people say versus what I saw with my eyes, I wonder, it's stuff like that is usually what kind of gets to me, and not in a bad way or anything like that, but it's just like, oh, that's what that was. I saw that, but I didn't know.
I loved
What
Chris
that was.
Wojcik's character after the season.
Yeah.
He was a quiet, cool, calm, and collected guy on the stage, like you said, but then in the back, and he's a genuine, raw, pretty unfiltered dude.
Yeah, and he'll get after it.
Yeah,
and he's willing to do it, but also he'll be smart, and it seems like, and let go and things like that too. So that's a little interesting too. That's what I mean. Is like, because I see people competing, and I'm in the front, seeing all that kind of stuff, and I'm trying to think of specifically during the matches and things like that, if I can interview them. Like, it's like, man, is there going to be anything to talk about with this person during the match? That's one of the main things I'm like looking for during the matches, is that, are they even anybody gonna be worth interviewing? And then if it is, what are we gonna kind of think to talk about with it? And so I'm only trying to hype them up, though. I'm only trying to get them to do, say, feel, at least maybe not good, but to be encouraged to say whatever that is gonna hype up the next whatever. And I want them to feel good,
and they still have their mask on when they're talking to you.
Right. And so I want to try to tear some of that down a little bit by giving them praise, telling them thank you, giving them, and that's all genuine, like just go ahead and giving them their flowers right there in the moment, and then trying to get, like you said, more of like a raw kind of answer from it. But I want it to be a positive, if possible, kind of thing, versus, now once it goes on to a storyline or whatever in the back, I don't know anymore what's happening.
Yeah, we need a story producer that is updating you with the storylines in the back. Because, like, for example, did you know in the season that Kyle Bame and Davis Asari got into that little drama bit in the back?
No, I hadn't heard anything about that, and so it's interesting. And I see what I don't. That didn't even seem that deep.
No, it's not. But it's
it's just funny. Like, it's like in that moment though. It gets heated, and that's just a thing, right? People are whatever people do.
But then you would have had the line of like, hey, I know it was getting a little chippy in the back or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Being able to comment and talk about things, like, you would have more ammunition in your interviews if a story producer was just updating you on all the things you're missing in the back.
Yeah, I wasn't in the group chats or anything either. Like, so I don't have the drama side of stuff these last few seasons. So that's an interesting thought. I could use that, I guess, as I know I'm good at ad lib. I'll run something. I'll try it.
We'll figure that part out.
We'll move on quickly.
We'll just put another set of headphones in your ear, to where then you're just listening to another set of voices.
Let's go.
One of my
thank you for editing that final announcement for Ryan on the documentary.
I got you.
I blew that. So thank you.
I got you. One of my favorite moments is when Elijah just got done doing his controversial bit with Adam Bradley, and then he's like, I got to go take a shit. And you're like, all right, that sounds important.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. So that's the thing. Ryan said in a comment, I don't know if it's true or not. It's funny that he's trying to get me to break. They're just trying to get me to break, or see who can get me to pop or whatever during the thing. And I'm just trying to play straight man, though. That's like, that's part of the tism I got down strong. If I want to, is I can try to play the straight man, And so whatever they say, I'm just gonna try to let it float in the air. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna push back on much, especially shit. And then Ryan's finishing line.
Yeah, that was good.
I was like, I'm just gonna let that be there. Amen.
Travis had a good one.
So yeah, and that's the thing I think is the best too, is like, I want to try to help make that moment, but it can't really be about me when I do. I gotta set them up to do the thing, and I just gotta kind of play off it to make it better. Right. It's like, so that's the fun bit to me, is to try to figure out that interplay with people from, like you said, a Wojcik character who's a really well-read, smart, well thought out guy who's also a savage, and then Marcin, who's probably the same, but he's Polish and hasn't really been here with us in this culture a ton, maybe. And so trying to figure out what would get the best from him. But he just came in hard, and I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
He's such a cool guy. We went, so we met him in Poland.
Easy.
Met him in Warsaw, Poland when we were touring with Death Punch. And at the gym, he's got one of the nicest gyms in Europe, bro. It's incredible. It's like one of the last buildings that's still standing from the war. Like, it's fucking sick.
It's like an old cathedral, isn't it?
That not quite, but
or
same vibes.
Same vibe, yeah.
Anyways, we all roll there. It's just basically an open mat. We train at each country when we pop in, and find a local gym or set up Zoltan's like rolling dojo. Anyways, we get a piece of him, and he was real good, right? We could feel it on him, and he was a nice roll. It wasn't like we were going hard or anything. He wasn't trying to kill the visitors. Like, we were just, training, and you could feel it on him though. Oh, he understands connection and inside space, and this guy's he's no joke. And then he was training with his boys, and he like wasn't so nice to his boys, right? You can rough up your boys. He's roughed them up a lot. And we're like, Brett, let's bring this Polish sucker back to the States, dude. And it was a total joke. It was a total joke. And then Zoltan's like, no, let's do it. And we're like, all right, we'll get him in the PGF. And that was kind of it. And I was so glad to see his success story through the PGF, And he came to a Death Punch show, and he was like, a real rock fan. Like, you heard it in the last episode of the documentary, like he was going to win and get the money and buy a new guitar. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a genuine character development and story arc for this big scary Polish guy. By the end of the documentary, I'm wanting him to win, and I love the guy.
Yeah, he had a good nickname for the walkouts and everything too. Like, that's like stuff like that is good for me. I can play with stuff like that or whatever, and it's fun. And he lived up to it too. He was terrifying. But also very nice.
The moment that we caught in the back where like they saw Brandon using the telestrator when Crump was running from him, and he's like, get over here. And like the fact that the guys are even included in some of that, and they see the like TV that we're making out of it, like, dude, this stuff's so cool. Like, I tell people all the time that like we're living in the middle of a movie. And like now, like through these last 3 like documentaries, like I feel like we've captured that.
How hard is the telestrator to incorporate into things?
I mean,
he's looking for Brandon. He's like, hold on one second. Can't say the truth here. They're watching. Blink twice if you're in danger.
It depends what you mean by like difficult in terms of what, like hardware.
Does it like flow maybe, or just in general, like in application? I don't know what I mean. I guess it's just like it's a new thing, and like you said, you kind of plugged it in. But
there's a lot of moving parts to it. Not only does the replay guy have to be on point, but the switcher guy has to be on point. Not only that, but the commentator that's using the telestrator has to be on point. Like, it's a dance amongst multiple people in real time. And so how hard is it? Well, how hard is it to do any performance live real time? It's like it takes some stuff,
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. And then trying to line up those things out at one time.
And with anything that takes some skill or talent or expertise in, and you're doing it live real time, there's pressure on. This is one of the things that like we don't have a ton of reps with, and like Brandon doesn't really get to just go have reps with the telestrator because
threw it to him like right before it started, didn't we?
I mean, pretty much. Like he did a couple shows like with the qualifiers, but it's like the
Yeah.
only real reps are like live reps. You can't like do pretend reps with the telestrator because you know what's coming, you know how to break it down. Like he needs to get reps breaking down shit that just happened in front of his very eyes. Like it can't be something he's already seen before. We can't preload a bunch of videos of these matches and let him telestrate because it's not the same, you know.
What if you got like some pro wrestling videos or something and made him practice with something that was not jujitsu that he would be doing? Is that something that maybe?
Yeah, you know, it'll help for sure. But we also didn't have the machine very long before the season. So I mean,
I think it's a cool thing. Like obviously we all grew up with the boom, John Madden, you know, just thing you get across here, you're making your things or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to draw a circle on something and say boom and tell people it's done and
you
then
can do
move
it.
on.
You
Yeah.
can do it.
And I've seen it now. And so that's like, that's kind of why I was asking how hard it is because I want to do it.
It's not hard enough to where you can't do it. I've seen you do all things. You can do
I
it.
can do hard things. Thank you, Keelan.
Look at his studio. Look at his little studio setup, Keelan. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's evolving. It's evolving. We keep moving things around. But it's cool. I like it. It's fun.
My man Keelan has a hard out coming up. So, in closing, do you have anything you want to leave the people with, Keelan? Do you have any little nuggets you want to share with like our 7 friends?
I mean,
of like what's coming up.
First, I want to ask y'all, like, when you, like Steven, when you watch the film, the docuseries, are you like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it to support my boys? Or do you watch it because you love it and it's going, like, you want to watch it?
I'm pissed off when I don't know that it's premiering.
I see.
Because I want to watch it with everybody.
You got those notifications on?
No. My phone, if my phone makes a notification at me, I'll throw it out the window.
I feel that.
Like, I guess it could pop up something, but like, that's the thing. Like, I missed the one, I guess, like the time of when it comes out a lot of times, you know, is the thing. If it was the consistent timing of it all, that would make that easier for me.
I see.
For me. Because I was looking for it the whatever second week or whatever it was when it was like a day later.
One of them, it got pushed a day late. Yeah.
Yeah. That really, because I was like sitting here and I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to like watch this. I'm going to make live like commentary about this shit. And then it didn't happen. And so then I was like, you know what? I'll never watch this again. But like there is an element of some of the things that comes out that you guys do in general that I will be like, yeah, this is the homies and I want to watch it. But I definitely look forward to this because again, like I said, I'm there and I don't know what's happening all the time. So I want to know the other stuff behind it too, because I'm a fan. I'm not just like a dude.
I got a new series you're gonna want to tune into then. Starts dropping this Friday. So now that Grapplers 3 is over, the new series called The Federation starts dropping this Friday, once a week, each Fridays. It'll be a behind the scenes look at the ownership group of the PGF trying to build the PGF into the official and biggest grappling sports league in the world.
So will this be just like topical things of the week with interviews about maybe some of the stuff that's happening, or?
So you should think about it like a almost like a vlog series of the owners trying to do PGF. Like whether that means, oh, today we're having a meeting with the UFC, or today we're going to look at venues, or we've got phone calls with sponsors, or we're just training jiu-jitsu with Ricky Lundell and Mika, the coaches, and you know, like whatever the ownership group is doing in regards to the PGF and building the PGF. That's what this show is going to be.
And so we'll see you on there more then.
I will be on there. Yeah.
He has bits and pieces.
We've got
I want more. I need more.
We've had Samson and Plaster filming quite a bit of this.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. And so yeah. And so how much of this stuff do you have your hand in? All the like direction, I guess, of it all is like, do you see the stories most of all that you want to see, and then take other ideas from people?
Yeah.
Also,
they literally just film everything, and then I come up with the story out of the chaos. Like everything is getting filmed. A lot of times it'll be just a camera sitting there that's filming, just in case we said something that needed to be caught.
Interesting.
So get a bunch of footage, and then I identify the stories, usually in real time. Like I can remember, like I've got this remote that is acting like you wear it like a watch, and I can click a button that marks a moment in the video. So whenever I add the video to my timeline in the edit, there's markers of when I click that button. And so if the camera is just rolling, I can mark moments in the hour-long video. So whenever I go back to edit it, I look at those moments that I marked, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and then it'll remind me, and I can cut them out and tell the story.
All right, one more thing. Give me one rumor about next season before you leave.
One rumor. Not a rumor. Let's see.
Facts.
Oh, he's pulling out lists.
What's today's date? Today's April 9th. There's a show coming up sometime soon, and on that day we will announce big news. Rumor is, do you want like a fun made up rumor, or just like a kind of maybe?
I just want a rumor.
I just want you to say something,
dude. I mean, rumor is you've got a match coming up, Steven, that we're making you a match.
I heard about that. I heard about that rumor. I don't know. I haven't got a contract yet, so I'll see. Right now, this feels like it's gonna be a street fight, but we'll see. We'll see how these
we're getting contracts.
Rumor is somebody backed out of the date.
Can't make the date.
Yeah.
Sorry, that wasn't me.
For those of you that don't know what date, there's a May 10th PGF Open, first ever PGF Open, basically.
Mandy's getting her master's like Thursday, so I'm about to drive from where she's doing that at to there. But yeah,
I think that weekend's also like ADCC Open weekend or something in Atlanta.
Oh wow, okay.
So that's a big weekend.
So why that weekend for the competition then? Maybe.
Well, we don't care. We're not in competition with nobody.
I guess it's not really about the competition. I guess it's just like maybe
we're doing our thing for we need some reps at like an open style tournament.
I feel you.
Because we're so used to running professional, incredible productions that give out hundreds of thousands of dollars that we're not used to running these like open tournaments where people have to pay you to do it. So we're getting our feet wet with that style.
Okay, I hear you. And so this will be online then.
Yeah.
What's the rule set gonna be?
PGF. We're gonna crown an Alabama state champion, a state jiu-jitsu champion. Somebody asked me why.
Why?
Because we can, dude.
Damn.
And then we might just go in and do one for every state.
That's cool. I think that's an interesting thing. The regions, I think, is a thing that should be maybe exploited a bit as far as grappling sports or sport. The sport thing in general, right? We're from the SEC, the Pac-10, whatever. That's your region, and you represent your region. And then that's how you get to nationals or whatever it is, and then there's worlds or whatever. So.
Yeah, it's like we're just doing the same thing that any other governing body in the history of governing bodies has done, which is say that they're the authority.
Who's going to be the county champion? That's what.
Oof.
People
The
gonna be fighting for
VFW.
that.
You're already the VFW champion.
I have it right here, actually.
All right, let's
So-
let Keelan go to his show, but you and I'll stay on and close out. Cool.
Okay. Bye, Keelan.
Thanks for coming, Keelan.
Love you, boys. See ya.
See you soon.
Oh no,
It's just Isaac. Oh,
my
there's
bad.
me.
We're back.
too.
All right, so closing out the show. That was fun
Mhm.
having Keelan on. He and I have
Yeah.
been living in the dark dungeons of 2, 3 a.m. edit world. I hope
Did you get a new
everybody
camera?
enjoyed. Did I get a new camera? No, I just fixed my angle, man.
It looks
It's
amazing.
lighting.
It's amazing compared to what it was. I even wrote that down. I could show you the notes. I said, tell Isaac his camera looks really nice.
Thank you, Steven.
You're welcome. I didn't want to interrupt Keelan, but I noticed.
Of course not. Yeah.
Very good.
But so closing out, any other announcements? If you haven't, as the people, seen Grapplers Changing of the Guard, go over to YouTube. PGF World started episode 1. You could always go back 2 more seasons and you could watch No Gi No Money and just catch up to the whole story. And then, like Keelan said, this Friday they're dropping the Federation, which that'll be interesting to watch, to kind of watch how this all came into the professional show that it is.
Well, this will be post, right? Like this is like current stuff more, or
I don't know. I don't know how far back it goes, but I do know that at the very least it goes back to last season, if not before. But it'll
Okay.
be kind of like how the like ownership group has like steered everything and kind of why we've made the decisions that we've made and things that we've ended up doing as an organization. So like it's going to be a really interesting show. I'm excited to kind of see it because that's stuff that I haven't seen. Like when you talk about that, like when the moving parts, that's some of the stuff that I don't even know.
yeah, no, that's really interesting for sure. There's a lot of things you can't definitely know everything, so it'll be cool to maybe see some of that, like you said, how the bread's baked or whatever,
Yeah.
a little bit, so to say.
Yeah, watching the donuts get made.
Yep.
But
Well, hope
I've got a
everybody's
show.
safe.
I got a show May 3rd.
Oh yeah, what's that
that's
about?
going
Tell me about
on?
that.
Yeah, we got a open that's going on. There was a show that I produced last year, had Brandon on, Matt Elkins, and all that, and we did a jiu-jitsu show that was like EBI rules with Johnny Hernandez, which is the black belt down here with the 10th Planet Cancun, and then he's also with Carlos Machado. And so we're down here, and he moved to a new spot that's got like a really big, nice open space. And we've been talking about bringing the tournament back and doing the invitational again. But we needed to, last time we had so many people that were interested in the invitational that we were like, man, maybe we should do some qualifiers like you guys do. And so this is going to be a qualifier for the invitational. And we're running it an EBI bracket for numbers purposes because we need to get through a big bracket. And we've got 3 male brackets, 2 female brackets, and kids brackets.
Oh, nice.
And so it's the Cancun Open, and it's spelled like KAANKUN Open. It's like the Mayan spelling of Cancun.
Oh.
And so there's all kinds of like excitement with what we're going to do with the invitational. We're having it. There's a guy here that's a famous rapper named Babo, and he's got a place out in Monterey called Casa Babylonia, and we're going to have the invitational out there and like have a whole bunch of different like exciting people on the card, and it's going to be fun. Like it's the jiu-jitsu scene here is like it's got all the information of the modern game, but it's at the growth point of like say like 2008, 2009, 2010, like that, like when everything was first kind of exploding, when if you found a purple belt, it was like finding a black belt. Well, like down here, there's a lot of guys and a lot of ladies that are like going back and forth and going to the big names and bringing it back. And there's just like this growth that's going on of just people jumping on and like really excited about like the
EBI.
Huh?
You saw last EBI, the Mexicans
Yeah.
are really competitive now.
Yeah,
like,
really. Yeah. So like it's going to be an exciting time. So May 3rd, if anybody's interested, it's on Smooth Comp. You can find it. You can sign up, come down, qualify to go compete. at a cool
Yeah,
location.
look at those flowers. You can go down there and get you one of them flowers. Don't
Bro,
take it. You can look at
there's
it.
there's some palm,
Palm
like, dude,
trees.
I've got coconuts like right
Don't let it
there.
hit you in the head. Apparently, people die from that a lot
Supposedly
around the world. Allegedly, I've not seen it, but I have been afraid of it once it was told to me ever since.
80% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Well, I trust the 80-20 on the coconut falling on my head, so I try not to be like under a big coconut tree too often.
Word. Anything you want to leave the people with, Steven?
Man, no, just kind of good to be out here working, staying in rhythm, keeping the thing going, kicking it down the road. We're working on stuff. It's not coming to fruition as of yet. Like I said, there's a ton of stuff that's just not out there that's building up, and I think it's cool to kind of have that understanding of what's going on now, more to where don't have to just be talking all the time about stuff and just work on it and let it build itself up or whatever. And then when it's time, it'll be time for stuff to go. So just cool, enjoying the process, back in the groove a little bit now. Feeling good.
Word. Bye, people.